Hello, and welcome to another episode of Jazzology presented by Savage Content. I'm your host, Willard Jenkins. We're here alternating Fridays, giving two jazz fans the opportunity to compete against each other for a chance to win $100. Each contestant will be asked a question worth 2 points. If they're unable to answer correctly, their opponent will have the chance to steal the question for 1 point. We will ask 10 questions, and at the end of the 10 questions, the person with the lowest score will get a bonus question for the opportunity to tie the score. If they are successful, the game will go to sudden death. Each contestant will take turns trying to answer the sudden death multiple choice question until we have a winner. The person in the lead at the end of regulation will go first. The contestants will alternate chances to answer the question until one gets it correct. And now let's meet this week's contestants. Our reigning champion is jazz trumpeter, audio video businessman, and all-around jazz enthusiast, Jim Coleman. Welcome back, Jim.
Hey, thanks, Willard. I am a big fan. There's no doubt about it.
All righty. Our new challenger is Atlanta-based singer-songwriter Tyler Neal. So, Tyler, what makes you a jazzologist?
Well, I'm a musician and a huge fan of jazz music. I minored in jazz studies for 3 semesters, and yeah, just gonna see if I can hang in there.
All right. Well, welcome to Jazzology, Tyler.
Thank you so much.
And now let's get to today's Jazzology questions. And as our reigning champion, Jim Coleman goes first. Are you ready, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Jim, what jazz critic / columnist collaborated with Jimmy Lyons to found the oldest continuing jazz festival, the Monterey Jazz Festival? Would that have been A, Orrin Keepnews, B, Leonard Feather, C, Ralph J. Gleason, D, Dan Morgenstern, or E, none of the above?
Okay, Orrin Keepnews was a great record producer. Leonard Feather was a great writer. Ralph J. Gleason was based in San Francisco. And I'll tell you a story about what he wrote about Charlie Parker in 1947. It wasn't very nice. And Morgenstern, of course, was at Rutgers. So it was probably Ralph J. Gleason.
Ralph J. Gleason. That's your answer?
Yeah.
All righty. Well, that is correct. The correct answer is Ralph J. Gleason. And Ralph J. Gleason, I think his column was in the San Francisco Chronicle.
And yes, and he did write for Downbeat.
Yes, he did.
In the 40s.
He did. And he worked with Jimmy Lyons to found the Monterey Jazz Festival. So that is correct. Chalk one up for Jim. Tyler, who wrote the jazz tune? Who wrote the jazz tune Killer Joe? Would that have been A, James Moody, B, Quincy Jones, C, Wayne Shorter, D, Benny Golson, or E, Duke Ellington?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm gonna have to take a swing here. I know that Duke Ellington to this day has written more songs than most people have ever published ever still. So if I had to take a swing, it was probably maybe between, since I don't know, I'd have to guess between him or Quincy. So I'm gonna go with Duke.
You gonna go with Duke?
I'm gonna go with Duke.
That is incorrect. So Jim Coleman with a chance to steal the question. Jim,
I'll never forget going to the Brooklyn Paramount and checking out the Jazz Tet.
Who wrote the tune? Who wrote the jazz tune Killer Joe? Was it A, James Moody, B, Quincy Jones, C, Wayne Shorter, D, Benny Golson, or E, Duke Ellington? And something you said a moment ago makes me think you know what the answer is, but let's see what you think.
Well, Brooklyn Paramount, the Jazz Tet. What a great band that was. And of course, Benny Golson wrote Killer Joe.
Benny Golson did indeed write Killer Joe. And I guess some folks might think that Quincy Jones wrote that because his version was the one that popularized Killer Joe, but you are correct. It was Benny Golson from the Jazz Tet, the co-leader of the Jazz Tet with Art Farmer. All right, Jim, name the jazz club famous for hosting jazz DJ Symphony Sid Torrens' nightly radio broadcasts. Would that have been A, Birdland, B, Monroe's Uptown House, C, the Royal Roost, D, Minton's, or E, none of the above?
WADO, 1280 on your dial. Symphony Sid was right across the street from Birdland in the window of the Colony Record Store. Birdland.
Birdland?
Yep.
That is incorrect. And Tyler with a chance to steal the question. Name the jazz club famous for hosting jazz DJ Symphony Sid Torrens' nightly radio broadcast. And A, Birdland has been ruled out. B, Monroe's Uptown House. C, the Royal Roost. D, Minton's, or E, none of the above?
I'm going to go with C, the Royal Roost.
Yep.
That is correct. It was indeed the Royal Roost. And Jim Coleman, that was a very honest response, because one would certainly have thought that Birdland would be the place, the way Symphony Sid promoted Charlie Parker, Bird, but it was indeed the Royal Roost. Tyler, you
Yes,
ready?
I'm
All
ready.
right. What American city lays claim to hosting the world's largest free jazz festival, as in free of charge? Would that be A?
For a distinction.
Right, exactly. Would that be A, Chicago, B, Detroit, C, New York City, D, New Orleans, or E, San Jose?
Well, I know that you have to get a ticket to go to Jazz Fest in New Orleans. So it can't be that one. I'm not super familiar with the other ones, but let's see. I'm going to go with, let's say, Chicago. A.
Yep.
No.
Okay, Jim, you got a chance to steal the question. What American city lays claim to hosting the world's largest free jazz festival? And Chicago has been ruled out. Oh, that was a good answer, Tyler. B, Detroit, C, New York City, D, New Orleans, E, San Jose.
I didn't even know they had a jazz festival in San Jose.
Oh, yeah.
I'll have to go with Detroit.
That is correct. And you know, interestingly enough, there was a time when Chicago laid claim to hosting the world's largest free jazz festival, because Chicago Jazz Festival still remains free. But Detroit has superseded Chicago at this point.
Okay.
All right, Jim, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Jim, name the original bass player in the modern jazz quartet, also known as the MJQ. Would that have been A, Percy Heath, B, Paul Chambers, C, Milt Hinton, D, Ray Brown, or E, George Duvivier?
Well, all great bass players here. There's no doubt about that. And Percy Heath was with the MJQ all the way through from the beginning to the end.
So your answer?
Oh, Percy Heath.
That is incorrect, Jim.
What?
Name the original, and that is the key word, original, bass player in the modern jazz quartet, also known as the MJQ. A, Percy Heath has been ruled out. Would that be B, Paul Chambers? C, Milt Hinton? D, Ray Brown? Or E, George Duvivier?
Well, I feel like Paul Chambers.
Uh-oh, are you frozen there?
Okay, I'm gonna go with test my luck here. I'm gonna go with D, Ray Brown.
That is correct. Ray Brown was indeed the original, and that's the key word there, Jim. The original. Yes, we know that Percy Heath was the longtime bassist in the modern jazz quartet, or MJQ, but Ray Brown was the original bass player. Jazzology is brought to you by Savage Content, an exciting new purveyor of quality music programming. From podcasts to live performances and interviews, Savage Content offers an eclectic mix of curated entertainment programming for all music lovers. Be sure to follow Savage Content on social media to hear about our latest releases, and check out the store on savagecontent.com to get your official Jazzology merchandise. And now it's time to ask our contestants our favorite question. Savage Content has hosted 2 video essay contests asking contestants how they fell in love with jazz. So for each episode of Jazzology, we like to pose that question to our contestants. Tyler, how did you fall in love with jazz?
It was I first found, I don't even remember how I found it. I grew up in the time where if you wanted to find music, you just start scouring the internet. So I was scouring the internet and I found Thelonious Monk, and I just knew that was, I'd heard jazz or whatever you want to call it before, but the way Thelonious Monk played the piano was unlike anything I had ever heard, and to this day I've still heard nothing like it. It sticks out.
Right. So it was Monk that turned you on. All right, that's a great.
It was the internet and Thelonious.
Well, Jim. Now, see, Jim and I have to. Both Jim and I have to smile a little bit at that reference, because we're both well beyond internet age.
Yeah.
But Jim, what keeps you interested in jazz?
Well,
you already answered that.
It's my community. It's here I am in Manhattan, and all my friends are in the jazz world, and old and young, and that's it's a real community. It's something that it's a family, and you just, once you become part of it, you're there.
All right. Well, let's go back to the questions, and Tyler is up at bat next. Tyler, what great jazz musician was born in the town of Cheraw, South Carolina? I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. What great jazz musician was born in Cheraw, South Carolina? Was that A, John Coltrane, B, Thelonious Monk, C, Dizzy Gillespie, D, Max Roach, or E, none of the above?
Well, I don't know off the top of my head, I must confess once again. But I'm going to say, let's say Thelonious, since he just came to my mind.
That is incorrect. And Jim with an opportunity to steal the point. Jim, what great jazz musician was born in Cheraw, South Carolina? A, John Coltrane, Thelonious Monk has been eliminated. C. Dizzy Gillespie. D. Max Roach. Or E. None of the above.
Okay. Well, John Coltrane was born in Philadelphia. Thelonious Monk was born in Manhattan, as far as I know. Max Roach was, I think, from the Caribbean. And Dizzy Gillespie was born in South Carolina.
Dizzy Gillespie is your answer.
Yes, sir.
That's correct, Jim. That's correct, but all of those musicians were born in the Carolinas.
No kidding.
Yes, all of them were born in the Carolinas. Dizzy was born in South Carolina. The others were born in North Carolina.
Even Max Roach, huh?
Yeah. And you know, the Heaths, they were also born in the Carolinas.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, Jim. Who is the pianist and musical director of the all-woman band known as Artemis? Would that be A, Rini Rosnes, B, Sumi Tanuka, C, Elian Elias, D, Helen Sung, or E, Myra Melford?
Oh, this is a difficult question. And the name of the group again was Artemis?
Artemis, yes, which was founded just before the pandemic.
Got it. Okay. All right, then. I don't think it's Renee Rosnes. I don't know Sumi Tunuka. Elaine Elias, I don't think she would be involved with that. I've never heard of Myra Melford. Process of elimination. Hopefully, Helen Sung.
Oh. That is incorrect. Tyler, with a chance to steal the question. Who is the pianist and musical director of the all-woman band known as Artemis? Would that be A, Rini Rosnes, B, Sumi Tanuka, C, Elian Elias, D, Helen Sung has been eliminated, or E, Myra Melford?
I'm going to go with B, Sumi Tanuka.
No.
That is incorrect as well. The correct answer to that question is Rini Rosnes.
Yep.
And you know, Rini, for most folks, spells Renee, but her given name is Irene. And as a kid, she became known as Rini. So professionally, she is known as Rini Rosnes. And she is the musical director and pianist of the all-woman band known as Artemis. Tyler, you're up next.
All right.
Which of the following guitarists went to the Performing Arts High School in Philadelphia with classmates like Christian McBride, Questlove, and the late Joey DeFrancesco? Would that be A, Kurt Rosenwinkel, B, Adam Rogers, C, Bill Frisell, D, Nels Klein, or E, none of the above?
Well, I don't think it's Bill, because I think he's a generation or two before these guys. Let's see. Could it be D, Nels Klein? Oh.
Jim has an opportunity to steal the question because it was not Nels Klein. Jim, which of the following guitarists went to the Performing Arts High School in Philadelphia with Christian McBride, Questlove, and the late Joey DeFrancesco? Would that be A, Kurt Rosenwinkel. B. Adam Rogers. C. Bill Frisell. D. Nels Cline has been eliminated. Or E. None of the above.
I think Adam Rogers is too young. I think Bill Frisell, I don't think he went to that school. Nels Cline has been eliminated. Hopefully it's Kurt Rosenwinkel.
That is correct. Jim steals the point. It was indeed Kurt Rosenwinkel, who went to the Performing Arts High School in Philadelphia with classmates like Christian McBride, Questlove, and the late Joey DeFrancesco. So, Jim, you're up next. In 1966, Art Blakey's Jazz Messengers recorded an album titled Buttercorn Lady. Who was the pianist on that record? Was it A, Walter Davis, B, Horace Silver, C, Joanne Brackeen, D, Keith Jarrett, or E, George Cables?
It's one of my favorite albums of all time.
Uh-oh.
And Chuck Mangione really played some bebop on that record. It was an amazing record. The pianist on that band, he was there for a short period of time, was Keith Jarrett.
That is correct. And obviously you're an aficionado, because a lot of people would be like, what? Keith Jarrett, he never played with Art Blakey, but yes, he was in Art Blakey's Jazz.
Also Chuck Mangione.
As was Chuck Mangione at the same time.
Wow.
Right. All right, so Tyler, it's your turn.
Yes, sir.
Which of the following tenor saxophonists who played with Miles Davis also had a son who later toured and recorded with Miles? Would that be Sonny Rollins, A, B, Wayne Shorter, C, Jimmy Heath, D, George Coleman, or E, none of the above?
Let's see. Could it be E, none of the above?
That's incorrect. Jim with an opportunity to steal the question. Jim, which of the following tenor saxophonists who played with Miles Davis also had a son who later toured and recorded with Miles? Would that be A, Sonny Rollins, B, Wayne Shorter, C, Jimmy Heath, or D, George Coleman? And E, none of the above, has been eliminated.
Okay, let's go down the list. Sonny Rollins, no. Wayne Shorter, I don't think so. Jimmy Heath, no. George Coleman has a son that's a great drummer, George Coleman Jr. I'll have to go with D, George Coleman.
George Coleman. That is incorrect. The tenor saxophonist who played with Miles Davis, who also had a son who later toured and recorded with Miles, was C, Jimmy Heath.
Wow.
What?
Jimmy Heath's son was Mtume, the now late conga player, congero, who played with Miles Davis.
Wow.
And he was known also as James Mtume, but his given name was James Heath Jr. And yes,
Wow.
it was Jimmy Heath's son who played with Miles Davis for a number of years in the 1970s.
Wow.
And now it's time for our bonus round. And Tyler, you'll go first.
Okay.
Since you trail, you now have an opportunity to immediately tie the score.
Okay.
In the late 1970s, who was the tenor saxophonist in the Cedar Walton Quartet? Was it A, Bob Berg, B, Michael Brecker, C, George Coleman, D. Johnny Griffin, or E. Ernie Watts?
I'm gonna go with A. Bob Berg.
And you just tied the score. It was indeed Bob Berg. So now it's time to go to sudden death. And Tyler will go first in sudden death. Which of the following piano players has led a band called New Yoruba? Would that be A, Chucho Valdez, B, Eddie Palmieri, C, Michelle Rosewoman, D, Fabian Almazan, or E, Omar Sosa?
I'm gonna go with B. Eddie Palmieri.
That is incorrect, and now it's Jim's turn. Jim, which of the following piano players has led a band called New Yoruba? Would that be A, Chucho Valdez, and B, Eddie Palmieri has been eliminated, C, Michelle Rosewoman, D, Fabian Almazan, or E, Omar Sosa?
This is something that's really out of my wheelhouse. Of course, I know Chucho Valdez, but I don't think he was in that band. And Eddie's been eliminated. I don't think it's Michelle Rosewoman, Fabian Almazan, or Omar Sosa. Okay, I'll go with E, Omar Sosa.
That is incorrect. And Tyler, it's Tyler's turn. Which of the following piano players has led a band called New Yoruba? Would that be A, Chucho Valdez, B, Eddie Palmieri has been eliminated, C, Michelle Rosewoman, D, Fabian Almazan, and E, Omar Sosa has been eliminated?
I'm gonna go with A. Chucho Valdez.
That's incorrect. And I think this is the furthest we've ever gone in sudden death.
Wow.
Which of the following piano players has led a band called New Yoruba? And I'll read all the names. Would that be A, Chucho Valdez, B, Eddie Palmieri, C, Michelle Rosewoman, D, Fabian Almazan, or E, Omar Sosa?
Ha! Okay, Fabian Almazan.
That is incorrect. Tyler,
Jesus
which of the following piano players has led a band called New Yoruba? A, Chucho Valdez, B, Eddie Palmieri, C, Michelle Rosewoman, D, Fabian Almazan. That's been eliminated, as has E, Omar Sosa.
Could it be C, Michelle Rosewoman?
That is correct. The process of elimination yields our winner for today.
Oh my gosh.
And congratulations to Tyler on your win.
Yes,
And thank you, Jim, for participating. We encourage each and every one of you to try your hand and play Jazzology. We are particularly encouraging more women to compete on Jazzology. I see a woman might have gotten Michelle Rosewoman earlier. We are particularly encouraging women to compete on Jazzology. And if anyone watching Jazzology would like to become a contestant, click the link on this link below and simply fill out the form. You must be 18 years or older, and be sure to follow us on social media at Savage Content to get all the latest news and updates. Thanks so much to Tyler Neal, to Jim Coleman, and to everyone who joined us for our 24th episode of Jazzology today. Remember, you can check out Jazzology every other Friday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you miss the show live, you can find the archive on the Savage Content YouTube channel. Thank you for joining us.